These impressions are brought to you by Gamefly. So I got a chance to see, not play, Lord of the Rings Shadow of Mordor, and it was a very interesting demo, sort of unlike something I've seen quite recently. It was actually quite long and comprehensive. I got a fairly good sense of the game. But in the beginning, I think I was completely fighting this game. In the opening moments where you see the character you're playing traversing the environment, it looked so much like Assassin's Creed. I couldn't get it out of my head. Climbing up the side of the building. Then in Mordor, apparently they also have parallel rope connections between buildings, just like in Assassin's Creed, and he's walking along them. And because the character you play is possessed by a wraith, you can go into wraith vision, and it highlights enemies, just like Assassin's Creed. I thought, oh, this is just almost embarrassing in the beginning. And then they started to show more of the game. And I rarely will make this kind of a 180 as I did in the course of it. I got really, really interested. The key element of this game is this thing they're calling the Nemesis system. And from what I could see, it seemed to be working. The idea is that many of the orcs, the creatures that you find in Mordor throughout the course of the game, have a procedurally created personality, for lack of a better word. They have a name, they have certain characteristics. They're strong in this gives them fear, and because you're a wraith or half wraith or possessed, they wouldn't explain exactly what the circumstances were there, you can turn them. You can read their mind. You can learn things from them about other people higher up the chain of command. And that's kind of what the purpose, or at least the side, the whole game has a story, and then this side section that we saw is trying to take out all these war captains among the orcs, among Sauron's hordes, and you could do that by manipulating them, turning them over to your side, by just straight up assassinating them if they're a bodyguard, and it really looked interesting. In addition, these kind of conflicts and these relationships that you develop with these enemies are really through player interactions. So if you fight a particular orc that was very strong and he runs away and you just hurt him, he's going to level up, he's going to remember you, and it's going to change the course of the interactions with him throughout the rest of the game.
You left me to burn! I'm gonna make you pay for that!
Now, one other thing that makes it quite distinct from Assassin's Creed, yes, there are definitely stealth elements, but they seem to just kind of roll right into the combat. And the combat definitely is reminiscent, and not in a bad way, of another game from Warner Brothers, and that's Batman, all the Arkham games. It was fast, it's set up to ping pong back and forth from various enemies. It seemed very, very visceral and quite satisfied. The upgrading system is you can upgrade your sword with a lot of passive skills, and what's neat is that you can upgrade the character with both wraith skills and just sort of regular warrior skills. All of them are active. So one of the biggest problems I've been seeing with skill trees in the past couple of years is that you like that thing that's kind of far down the chain, and you have to kind of pick up two things that seem kind of pointless in order to get there. All of these do come across as kind of a new toy or something else that you can do to expand that sense of combat, which did come across as challenging. I think the other thing that has this game kind of interesting to me is that it takes place in Mordor. I talked about this in my interview with the designer. It's always been such an interesting aspect of the Lord of the Rings mythos, is that everyone knows what it is, it's very important, but there's very little detail about it. You know, even in Lord of the Rings, you kind of just get it from Frodo's viewpoint, which is kind of a barren wasteland of nothing. This kind of is a peek behind the curtain and probably one of the most fascinating aspects of the mythos, and it's really neat to see it there. I didn't see a ton of variety in the structures and the buildings, but it is a very, very large map, and hopefully, despite it being kind of like the hotbed of evil, that there's different manifestations architecturally of what evil looks like. I mean, all in all, I'm actually quite intrigued by this game, especially since I was not in the first 5 minutes of it. Whether or not this Nemesis system is something that doesn't start to feel a little bit repetitive through the course of the game is yet to be seen. But the concept behind it, the fact that they're executing on it, it actually is one of the few things I can look at and go, that seems next gen, and it's made me quite interested. All right, let's take a moment to thank our sponsor, Gamefly. Gamefly is the largest online video game rental service, offering you a choice from over 8,000 new and classic titles across all consoles and handhelds. Plans start at just $15.95 a month, and members can rent 1 to 4 games at a time, keeping them for as long as they like. Once you're done playing, just send it back, and Gamefly will send you the next available game on your list. You can support Red 3 Games and get a free 15-day trial when you sign up at gamefly.com/Red3Games.